Hi, Mike here, English Nomad, and today's date is the 24th of May 2020. This video is just a brief update, just to let my subscribers know what is going on and what's happening with the channel, and basically just to explain some of the changes that have occurred over the last couple of months due to the current CV crisis. I'm not going to use the full name of the crisis that we're in right now because YouTube doesn't like people talking about it. So I'm just going to refer to it as CV. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who is subscribed to this channel. I reached a milestone recently, which is 1,000 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. So yeah, I hope to continue growing the channel. But with the current crisis, the channel has been in a bit of a hiatus. And I'll explain why that is. So for those who've been following the channel, I bought a BMW R1200 GSA just before Christmas, and the plan was to ship that motorcycle to Alaska, Anchorage in Alaska, and fly over there, pick the bike up, and then ride the motorcycle up to Prudhoe Bay on the Dalton Highway, and then come back down, having crossed the Arctic Circle, come back down south through Canada, the Yukon Territory, British Columbia, crossing the Canadian-US border eventually, and then following the west coast, the Pacific coast, down to California, and then working my way from California across from west to east on the continental lower 24 states. So I had a visa. I've got a visa, a 4-year multi-entry visa. I got that in December, and I also got the EPA approval to take the motorcycle into America. And I had work lined up in January to up to, I think, March. So I figured, right, I'll ship the bike to the United States sometime around the end of March, early April, and pick the motorcycle up around May. So that's giving plenty of opportunity for the bike to get there, plenty of time in case there's any issues. And then I would fly over there and pick the bike up. Now, obviously, the current situation occurred, the CV situation, and kind of playing it by ear and hoping that things would change. And it became apparent quite quickly that this situation was going to make it extremely unlikely that that my planned trip was going to happen. So so I had a decision to make, and the decision was, do I postpone the trip? Do I completely cancel the trip and shelve it? And because obviously there's a window between, like the spring, summer, fall window for that travel to occur. Kicking the can down the road a few months might have meant that that I wouldn't have been able to complete the trip this year anyway, you know, in terms of being able to cover the kilometers that I wanted to do and visit all of the places that I wanted to visit. So you know, you kind of have to make a decision based on what your schedule looks like and what you're sort of hearing from airlines and travel companies and shipping companies, and even countries themselves when they announce how long they're keeping their borders shut for. So it became apparent that that it's not going to be feasible to do any kind of trip such as the one I was planning this year. And right now, there's a big question mark as to when countries are going to reopen their borders. So I've sold the bike, top and bottom of it. I decided that I've seen a lot of Australia. I didn't want to do another trip in Australia. I bought the bike for a specific purpose. That purpose now has pretty much been shelved for the foreseeable future. And it's a lot of money to have tied up in a motorcycle that you don't intend to use for its intended purpose. So that's where it is right now. It's that I don't have the bike. That's not to say that I don't plan on getting another bike, but right now, I think with the current CV situation, reports I'm reading from websites and from travel websites, from other nomad sites, saying basically a lot of countries are intending keeping their borders shut, certainly for at least another 6 months, and it could be a much longer. Airline travel is looking like it could be very difficult for the foreseeable future. Shipping companies are advising people that it may be difficult because obviously a lot of people fly their motorcycles to their intended destinations, and air freight has become very expensive. Sea freight has also been impacted. There's been a significant downturn in sea freight, in volumes of sea freight. So there's going to be impacts for travellers in terms of shipping their transport from one country to another country. So from that perspective, it could be some time before we go back to the situation as it was before. And I suspect that this CV situation is going to add another layer of bureaucracy for travellers going forward. Hearing a lot of media pundits and government officials coming out now from all different countries saying that they're going to require people to have proof of immunity or proof of vaccination or be tested and be able to prove that they've been tested so they're not carrying this CV virus. So I think we have to resign ourselves to the possibility that I hate the term new normal, that this is going to be the new normal for some time to come. And I'm looking at it from a purely practical perspective. If being in Australia, you are very isolated from a lot of places in the world, and the logistics of getting your motorcycle or whatever mode of transport you plan to use to your point of the start of an adventure is a big part of the planning process. And right now there are very few options and very little information as to when the situation may change. So that's where we are. That's what's happening. So I am looking at other options for trying to salvage something out of this year. I don't know what that looks like right now, but I am working on something. But I don't want to announce anything. I don't want to sort of say, well, I've got this plan or that plan, because this America trip was something that I'd spent quite a bit of time on. Planning, talking to shipping agents, getting the visa. Had to go to the US embassy here in Perth to get the visa. So yeah, it's frustrating when you've invested time and effort in planning a trip only to have to cancel the trip and then look at other options for maybe salvaging something out of the year. I'm here in Perth at the moment, and I'm looking at maybe Europe's looking like an option. Maybe Europe will start opening its borders between the various countries sooner than a lot of places, because Europe has an awful lot more flexibility with its border arrangements than the open borders sort of European model. So that may be an option. Certainly through Central Asia and Asia, a lot of those countries are already saying then they've no plans to open the borders for at least 6 months. So those people who've got trips to go through Europe and Central Asia, down through Mongolia and those kind of places, I don't think those kind of adventures are going to be feasible for certainly for the foreseeable future. So it leaves people like myself who have the travel bug and want to see more of the world. It leaves our options very limited. So just watch this space. I'll certainly be coming back with some ideas for the future and what they look like. So thank you again for following my channel and being great subscribers, and I hope to catch you all again soon. Mike signing off. See you later, guys.